In this video we will start with Spring Boot application development. Okay, this is the first step and later we will keep on moving with other steps. Okay, so this is my GitHub repo. Okay, so hope if you don't have, you can just type this github.com, and if you don't have any accounts you can create one, and it's a free, you no need to pay anything. Okay, once you logged in to this GitHub account, then here you will see this new option, so you click here and we have to create a repository. Okay, now since this is fine, repository name, description you can leave it, or you can provide something like that, demo Spring Boot cloud deployment. Okay, you can choose this any of the below options, so I will keep it as public so that you can access directly to this repo and you can clone into your local while practicing in your local. Okay, and this readme file, keep it no issues. Okay, and license none, it's fine, just hit create a repository. Now our repository is ready, demo Spring Boot cloud, and this is the initial commit. Fine. Okay, next step, you create a folder on your desktop or anywhere. I have this created demo project on desktop. Now if you see, nothing is there, this is completely empty. So what we'll do, we will do first git init, just to make sure this normal folder become as our git repository. Okay, to do so what we have to do, just open your terminal. This is my terminal. I will go to first desktop and then into my demo project. Okay, now we are in demo project. Okay, so what we will do, git init. So whenever you do this one, you can see initialized empty git repository in this folder location with demo project.git. Okay, that means this your normal folder now treated as a git repo folder. Okay, so since it is done, now we have to clone our project into this folder. Okay, we'll go back to git. Okay, here in these sections you can see code, it is there, right? Just click here and the below drop down we have https. This through this you can clone, or by doing ssh you can clone. Any option is fine, but basically git recommends using ssh. But let's see with the https first. Just paste it here. Before pasting, just say git clone and paste it, enter. Now as you can see, cloning into demo Spring Boot cloud. That means our demo Spring Boot cloud, this is the repo name, it's been cloned into our local. If you go back and see, so you can see within this demo folder, demo project, we have demo Spring Boot applications. So we have successfully cloned our applications, right? Now let's see how to create Spring Boot applications. Now let's create a Spring Boot application. Okay, so we are on this page, starter.spring.io. so this is interface provided by Spring community. So from here we can create our Spring Boot application very easily. So all options are there. So we are going with Maven based application. So we have selected Maven, it is already been selected. Language is Java, and this is the Spring version. So this is the latest one, 3.4.5 and stable. So it is already selected. Now group ID, you can give it anything, but for now I will say com.spring.cloud. Okay, artifact you can say demo project, demo Spring Boot app. So artifact we have provided as a demo Spring Boot app. Okay, name same, descriptions whatever. Okay, and this is the package by default, but I don't want till here, so I will just say com.spring.cloud. so this will be our parent folder package name, and packaging jar we want, and Java version, this is 17 we are using. Okay, now coming to dependency, We will choose Spring Web first, Spring Web, and then Lombok Java annotation library, which helps to reduce boilerplate code. That means you no need to write getter, setter, constructor, or any toString things methods from your end. Lombok will do on behalf of you. So you have to just write the annotations, and it will take care of everything. Because of that reason, we are choosing this Lombok jar. So we have selected two dependency, and this is more than enough, because we are going to test a simple applications by deploying on Google Cloud Platform. Okay. Now, since everything is selected, click generate, and it will generate a jar file. Okay. As you can see, demo Spring Boot app.zip. So this is a zip folder. It's been generated. Now let's go to download folder. So it got downloaded in download folder. I have copied here. Okay, and I will unzip it. Now we have this demo Spring Boot app unzipped. We will go inside and we will copy everything from here, and we'll go to demo project inside demo Spring Boot Cloud, and we'll paste it here. Done. We will go back and delete this, both of these, not required. Okay. Now let's open any IDE, whether it is Eclipse or IntelliJ. I have IntelliJ, so I will open IntelliJ. So guys, we have imported this project into Eclipse IDE, and as you can see, this project demo Spring Boot Cloud has been successfully imported. Okay, and these are the project structure, and if you see this pom.xml, so this is the information. As you can see, this is the parent Spring Boot starter parent. This jar has been added automatically, and this is the version that we have selected, 3.4.5, and this group ID and this project artifact ID. Okay, and this is the initial version for our applications. Okay, and this is the description that we have given at the time of creating Spring Boot applications. Let's go down and we'll see few more details, like Java version. It came as 17, and this is the dependency that we have added. Spring Boot starter web, this is fine. Lombok we have added, it came. This Spring Boot starter test, this also came from Spring Boot starter parent. Okay, and these are the Maven plugins to build our applications. Hope this is clear. We'll go with folder structures. Okay, so this is source, the root folder, and below that we have two main folder and test folder. Test is for writing the test cases for your applications or for the functions that you will be writing, and this is Java folder where our main .java classes will come, and this is the resource where .properties or .yaml files will be keeping. This is our parent package that we have selected, com.spring.cloud, and this is our main applications. Okay, demo Spring Boot applications. If you run it, so what will get? It will run successfully. See, Tomcat started on port 8080 and started demo Spring Boot application in 2.625 seconds. So you might be thinking how this Tomcat server came, because we didn't add it. So for your information, I just want to let you know, Spring Boot application manages everything. Okay, so when we selected Spring Boot web dependency, it do all the configuration that required to run this application automatically. So automatically they have added the Tomcat server that need to be run, right? Because since it is a web applications, so server required, right? So this is what we are able to see, right? So hope this is clear and we are able to run the applications. For now, I will just stop and we'll proceed with the different folder structures for controller services and all, right? So we have created 4 packages: controller, DTO, model, and service. We'll first go with controller. We'll take a simple example like a student controller, where students have option to register themselves, to view their profile, and modify their data. So we will say student controller. Now let's understand what we have written. We have API response, okay, and here we will say we are going to return the user ID. Once the registration is successful, we are going to return UI ID. This is comes from the Java util package. What is UUID? A class that represents an immutable, universally unique identifier. That means this represents a unique identifier for a particular student, and this is immutable. That means you cannot change. So because of that reason, we are going to use this UUID. Okay, and this API response, we have to create this one manually, and this student input also. So we are good with this. Let's move to our controller class. Here we have a student input. So this class also we have to create, right? And this is a class that required the input from the student. So we have this student input. This is also ready, right? Here also we'll write at data annotations. Okay. Now since we have this student input already created, we'll import this here. Now it's got imported, right? Next we have to create a service that takes these input details and sends to database to store the student details. Now since student input class is ready, so next we will create one service class which will take this input and store in database. For now we are not going to store in database, okay, we will simply store in map. Okay, so let's start. So we have created this method public UUID register student details, and this is the input. Why we are returning? This is the return type UUID. That means once the student details saved successfully, we are going to return the unique identifier, so that controller will take that as a UID, and it will form API response and it will give back to the server. So we have created one student map, and this is static. That means whenever this app starts, it will create one student map, and we will keep on storing uh, student details. Okay, this will be available throughout the application runs. Fine. Now let's proceed with the further logic. So we'll first check whether the student input is null or not null. If not null, then we are going to store student data. Otherwise we will throw error, or we'll simply say or we can simply return null values. Okay, so to do so, we will first check if input not equal to null. That means we are saying input student input should not be null. What we are going to do, we are say we will create one student ID. We'll say UID student ID equal to UUID dot random UUID. That means it will automatically generate the random unique identifier for each request. Okay, now since we have a student ID, now we also have a student input, so we can store into this map, right? So what we'll do, a student map dot put, and we are storing string as a key, so this key should be unique identifier. So we already have this student ID as a unique identifier, so we will simply say student ID dot toString, so that we are converting into toString because this is of type UUID. Okay, and comma what is input. Okay, so our student details got saved inside this map, temporary map. Okay, and we will think it as a temporary database. Fine. Now if what if input is null, that means if a student details is null, then what will happen? We'll simply return Here first we will return UID, that means student ID. Here itself we will return student ID, or else return null. Okay, so this is basic example we have provided here. That means whenever controller sends data to service, it will first check whether the student input is null or not null. If it is not null, we are generating the random UID and then we are putting inside this map and then returning a student ID, right? This is the return type. If student input details are null, that means there is no data, then we are returning null, right? So this is the basic functionalities. So we are not going to write more logics over here, okay? And another one more methods will write public student input get student details by ID. What ID? UUID, okay? So when a student queries their details through by providing the valid student ID, then we will check whether it is present in this map or not. If present, we will return the same. So we will simply say return student map dot get will pass student ID dot to string. That's it. So we have two functions as of now. One is register student details and another is get student details by ID, right? And for these two, we have to write the endpoint. So we have, as of now, we have simple endpoint, that is the basic root level endpoints. Now we have to make this as a perfect mapping for storing the details of a student. So we'll go with the post mapping because we are posting or storing the details, right? So for that we are going with post mapping. We'll define private student service and we will do auto wire. Auto wire means it will create object automatically by Spring Container. Okay, so we have done this one auto wire. So we'll have an instance ready for that student service. Now since this instance is ready, we can say because we are getting UID as a student ID, so we'll say student ID equal to student service dot registered student details by providing what a student input. Now we got what a student ID. Now we have to prepare API response. So we already had created this API response with the type UID. So we'll say API response equal to new API response. Okay, response dot status, we will say success. We'll set message student details saved successfully, and another student dot set data as student data. So we have done this by using the setter method. We have set all the required details, and same will be sent to the user or on the browser. Okay, now there is two ways we have added this using this setter method, but we can directly use constructor as well. Okay, so to do so, what we can do, API response, similarly UID response response 1 equal to new API response of, here we can say success, and then student ID. Now what it is saying, expected 0 arguments but found 3. That means we have to go to this API response class and we have to write it all hours constructor. Okay, whenever we will do this, it will not complain of anything. So there is two way, either we can do with the setter method or with this one. So anything is fine. So we will go with this style. Okay, this one, we'll make it here, comma. We will remove this entire things and we'll say response, right? Now since we are ready with the response provided from the service, that means service once register the student details, it will give us this response. Okay, if not, then null. So since we have these details, we have to return now, right? So how will return? We'll write return response entity dot okay by passing the response body. So what we have, response body as response, so we'll pass it here and we are good to go. So hope this is clear. So what we are doing here, we are taking the student input details, we are calling the service method to store this, and based on the response we are returning back to the client, right? Now here we have to pass one more endpoints. This is the root, right? Now what we'll say here, save student details. Okay, now we are good to go. Okay, so our this endpoints is ready. So what is the final endpoints? So it will look like this. This is the final API details with body what we are going to provide, a student input. Let's write that endpoints as well. We'll say get mapping. Okay, and endpoints will be get details. So we are ready with this get student details as well. So we are providing the ID as a input, and then we are querying this student details through this student service, and same thing we are returning. So we have two endpoints and both of the endpoints are ready now. Now we have two endpoints. One is register student details and one is just get the student details by providing the ID. So here we missed one more thing, and that is the path variable that we are going to take from the users, right? And here one more annotation, and that is path variable, right? So user has to pass this ID as a path variable, and based on that we will fetch this student details. So we'll do one thing, we'll create one run configurations. Okay, so we'll go here, edit configurations, and this is fine, this is okay, and we'll do one more thing, we'll add this add before lunch task, and we'll say Maven gold, we'll write clean install, say okay. This is demo Spring Boot applications, this is fine now, and we'll say apply. Okay, and now let's run it through here. So what it will do, it will first do all the clean and install, and then it will start running the application. Now as you can see, our application started at port 8080, right? And we are ready to test locally through Postman. Now we have opened Postman API to start testing our applications. So as we know, right, we already have this API details. So let's copy it from here. So we are good to go. Now what required, these things not required in body, we need to send the data, right? So now we have this request body ready, and we have this API details, and request type we have to HTTP post, okay, and then we will hit this send button, okay, and we'll see whether these details are getting saved or not. If details get saved, we will get the response with success and the UUID, that means unique identifier ID, okay. Let's hit it. Now, as you can see, we got the masses status success, student details saved successfully, okay, and this is the data, right? So this data is nothing but the student unique identifier, right? So we'll do, just copy this one and we'll try to fetch the same details. So we'll click here the new tab, okay, and we'll go to our application and see here in controller we have this endpoint to get the student details. So we will copy it from here and we will paste it here and we'll send the request. See, we are able to get the response: name, roll number, mobile and address. Similarly, we can what we'll do, we'll save this ID, okay. This is the first ID, so let's save it here for our simplicity, and we will try to you know, register one more student, Syam, with address Delhi and mobile something different, and this roll number 12345, right? Now when we hit this one, so we got this uh, role ID, right? Unique identifier, that is a student ID. Same if we paste it here and send the request, and we are able to get the Syam all the details, right? So hope this is clear, and our both the endpoints working as expected. Now if you want to see all the details, means all the student detail, so for that we will do one more thing, we will write one more endpoints which will give us all the registered students details, okay. So what we will do here, so since we know like a student service returns this get student details, one single student details by ID, right? So we have to write one more you know, function in student service which will give us all the list of students, okay. It is going to give all the values that is present in this student map, and what this saying returns a collection view of values contained in this map, right? The collection is backed by the map, so the changes to the map are reflected in the collections. So what it is saying, it is going to give us a collection object, okay, as a value. Now when we call controller, so simply here we can say return response entity dot okay, and then student service dot get all students, okay. So now this is also ready. Now let's test this as well. So what we'll do, we will first run stop this application and we will rerun again. So whenever we'll do this you know, run, so it will again, what it will do, clean, build, and then it will start our applications. Now build is success, now our application is also started. So this is you know, the next new endpoints also it is ready, and what it is, since we already restarted these applications, so we lost all the data that we saved, so we have to save again, okay. So let's do it again. So first go with this post mapping and we will store 2 3 student details one by one. This is done. Ram, Mumbai, and I'm saying this is 6. Raza, Surat, this is 7. So now we have three student details, right? Now, what is our purpose to get all the student details? So we'll copy it from here, and now when we'll send this request, we should be getting all the three student details. See, we have all the three student details: Raja, Ram, and Syam. So now, since three details we are able to fetch, so that means our three API is working. So we can say we have developed a demo Spring Boot application successfully, and the next we will our target will be to write a Docker file so that it will create an image based on the information we'll provide and will store in the Docker container, and from there again we'll do the cloud build configurations from where cloud will automatically read the file, and based on that it will try to build the image stored in the container registry, and again getting the image from the container registry and starting the container to deploy on the cloud server. So these are the next step. So we'll see all these steps in next video. Thank you so much. If you like, please share with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe if you are new to this channel. Thank you so much.